how are you today? My name is Ellie and welcome to this channel. I'm really happy to be with you and more because this video is going to be in English. I think you already noticed that, but well, I already have 3 videos in my channel. The first one was about my first month as au pair, the second one about my second month as au pair, and the third video was about the interview that I did with my friend Liam. If you remember my friend Liam, we were talking about his experience as a male au pair, and this is going to be the 4th video, so I'm really excited. And why is this video going to be in English? The answer is because I know there are some girls that don't speak Spanish, so some of them wrote me if I could do some videos in English. So I think that's a great idea because I can help more girls with this process of becoming au pair, and also to the girls that already see my videos in Spanish, they can practice their English watching these videos. So I think that's why it's a great idea to do this video in English. The topic of this video is going to be how to choose the correct host family. I hope that this video can help you in the process of choosing your host family. So let's start. I need to tell you that I don't have a magical recipe that can tell you how to choose exactly the correct host family and that you're going to have the best experience as au pair, because there are so many factors that are involved in this process. And the first thing I need to tell you is that one host family can be the perfect one for one au pair, but the same host family cannot be the perfect one for another au pair. And why is this? This is because everyone is different. Maybe the first au pair likes some things, doing sports, reading, I don't know, different things, and maybe the other au pair is the opposite because she likes different things. And this is the reason why for an au pair maybe this family is the perfect one because they match and they really connect together. For the other au pair, they are not the perfect one because they like different things or they have different point of views. So this is the reason why one host family can be the perfect one for one au pair and not the perfect one for another au pair. You are going to be able to see the application of the host family. You need to look closely to the application of the host family. You need to read the whole application, in which state they live, in which town, or if they live in a city, how many kids they have. Also, you need to look if they have a special room for the au pair or the basement, or in which room you're going to stay. Also, you need to look at the rules of the family, and most important, to the schedule. You need to ask for which one is going to be your schedule. Also, if the kids have special needs, and also which one is the type of food the family eats. Look if the family already had an au pair before. So I think these are the most important things you need to look when you see the application of the host family. And if you saw something that you didn't like in the application, don't be afraid to say no for that family and to keep looking for more families, because I think the first impression you have is in the application. But if you have interest in this family and you think this family can be for you, write them an email and say them that you are available to do a Skype or maybe to do FaceTime with them, so you can talk each other and you can ask them more questions about the family and the family can know you more. Okay, so let's imagine you already sent an email to this family and you told them, I really like your family, I could like to talk with you in a video call, and then you have the day for the video call. So in this time that you're preparing to do this Skype with the family, you can do something really important, which is to look at the things that they have in the place they live. If they live in a small town, you can look which cities are close to the place. If you live in a small town, it's going to be difficult to find things to do if you don't have a car. So that's why I'm saying this, because you need to look which things are close, look at the transportation. So when you are in the Skype with the family, you can ask them about the car, which is going to be really important. So now let's imagine you are already in the interview with the family. You need to be really clear with your answers. You need to be really honest. And when they ask you something, don't say just yes, or like being with really short answers. Try to explain more about you. Try to show them more about you so they can see that that you are interested in this family and they can know you more, because if you only say a short answer like yes or no, maybe they are going to start doubting, or maybe they are going to say there's something about this girl that she doesn't want to tell, or I don't know. A lot of things can happen, but try to be as clear and honest as you can be. Try to explain a lot about you, what do you like, about your family, about your hobbies, so they can know you more. I know it's difficult when you are in an interview with a host family, because maybe you can feel really nervous, maybe you think they are not going to understand your English and you are afraid of that, but the best way to not be nervous is to prepare. Be really prepared for this interview and make as many questions as you can. Please don't make match with a host family if they don't answer one of the questions that I'm going to say here. The first question that you need to make is which one is going to be your schedule. Ask them if you are going to have the weekends off or you are going to have just 1.5 days. And it's really important to ask about the schedule, because there are some girls that have schedules that are not as good. Unfortunately, there are some host families that ask the au pairs to work maybe from 6 a.m. to 12, and then they have just 2 hours free, and then they have again to work, and they also have to work at night. This is something that happened to me when I was in the interview with my host family. I asked them about the schedule, but they told me that they didn't know which one was going to be my schedule. So I was like, oh, it's okay. I forgot to keep asking about this, and when I arrived, I noticed that I was going to have to work normally on Saturdays or maybe Sundays, and my schedule in the week was some days starting at 6 a.m. and then until 9 a.m. and then working again from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. and at the next day working 10 hours from maybe 8 to 5, 8 to 6, something like that, I don't remember. But the schedule was really hard for me because I had to wake up really early in the morning to be ready at 6 a.m. and then I was having some time off, but I used to use that time to go to the college and then going for the girls again and working until maybe 9 p.m. and at the next day another 10 hours, and sometimes working some Saturdays or maybe some Sundays. That was hard, and so I think it's really important for you to ask how your schedule is going to be. The second question you need to ask is which ones are going to be your activities as au pair. You need to ask if you need to cook only for the kids or for the whole family, if you need to wash the clothes only of the kids or of the whole family, if you need to clean, which parts of the house do you need to clean, which ones are going to be your activities exactly, because you don't want to get a surprise when you are arriving with your host family and maybe they tell you that you need to cook for the whole family, and that's something that maybe you are not comfortable, or maybe they ask you to wash the clothes of the whole family and you don't feel comfortable with that. So it's really important to ask exactly which ones are going to be your activities. If you need to clean, which things do you need to clean, only things of the kids or the whole house, because really there are some girls that when they arrive they realize they need to clean maybe the whole house, which I think is not fair, because the contract says that the au pair needs to do only the activities that are related to the host kids. The other question you need to do is if you need to drive, and in which places are you going to drive. Do you need to drive only in the streets of the town, or if you need to drive in highways? This is really important because maybe you are not comfortable driving in highways. The next question is to ask to the host family in which language do they want you to speak to the host kids. For example, there are some host families that ask to their au pairs to speak only in Spanish to the host kids. So this is really important because maybe you want to improve your English, and if you are only talking in Spanish because the host family asks you to do that, maybe you're not going to improve your English as you want. So this is something you need to ask before you go. This is really important because the other day I got a message from a girl that told me that the host family asked her to speak only in Spanish to the host kids, and she was not feeling okay with that decision because she wanted to practice English, but she didn't ask before. So it's really important before making the match to ask them if they want you to speak only in Spanish or your native language, or if you can speak in English. The next question that you need to make is if you are allowed to use the car for your own things, or only when you are driving with the host kids. Because if you live in a small town where the transportation is maybe difficult, where you cannot go to some places if you don't have a car, it's going to be really difficult your experience if you are not allowed to use the car. Ask them if you are going to be able to use the car in your free hours, or how is this going to work. And if you are not allowed to use the car, you need to ask about the public transportation in the place they live, if they have buses, if they have trains, or how far is the train station from where they live. This is something that also happened to me, because in the application the host family had an address, and I looked at that address and this was so close from everything. It was maybe 5 minutes away from the train station, and it was really close from Starbucks and things like that. And when I arrived, they told me that we were going to move to another house, and that's something that I didn't know. So when we moved to this house, now everything was not as close. The train station was 25 minutes away walking, so I had to use the bus. The bus sometimes, especially on weekends, used to pass maybe every hour, so that was really hard. So you need to ask about everything about the transportation in the place you're going to live, and also ask to the host family if they are having plans to move to another house. That's something that is really important. And by the way, something that I forgot to mention is that if you are not allowed to use the car, you need to be sure that you are going to have access to public transportation, maybe walking 5 or 10 minutes, because if everything is far away, for example, I used to have, as I said, the train station 25 minutes away. When I used to arrive from New York City at maybe 10 or 11 at night, I had to walk 25 minutes in the dark because it was really dark, and I used to use my phone, the light of my phone, to see, and it was kind of scary sometimes. So you need to ask about this, how it's going to work. Maybe the host family is going to tell you that you are not allowed to use the car, but they are going to pick you up or drop you off. You need to be sure about this, because sometimes it's uncomfortable to ask the host family all the time if they can pick you up or drop you off from the train station, because maybe they are tired or they are already sleeping, so you don't want to do that. So you need to be sure that you're going to be able to have access to public transportation close. The next question is, how is your room going to be? If you're going to have your room in the same floor as the host kids, or in the third floor, or maybe your room is going to be the basement, you really need to ask about this and ask them for pictures of where your room is going to be, because there are some girls that when arrive to their host families, they see that their room is maybe not what they imagine. Maybe it's really cold or it's really small. So please ask your host family to send you some pictures of your room. This is really important, because your room is the place where you're going to spend your free time, where you're going to try to relax. So if you have a really small place where you only have your bed, maybe it's going to be hard. If you are used to bigger places, or maybe you need a desk or you need a chair, I don't know, because believe me, your room is the place where you're going to spend your free time and try to relax from a hard day of work. I'm not saying that you're going to have a really luxury place, that you're going to have a lot of things, but what I'm saying is that, for example, if your room, that is something that happened to me. My room was next to the room of the girls. They used to wake up really early, especially the baby, sometimes at 5 in the morning. It was so close from my room that sometimes I woke up at that time and I couldn't go back to sleep. So it's really important to know in which place your room is going to be, because when you finish your day as au pair, the thing you want to do is to disconnect from the kids, because they are really nice, but you also need time for you. But if your room is next to them, maybe that's not going to happen, because you're going to keep hearing them. Maybe you're going to think that I'm exaggerating, that maybe it's not important this, but believe me, it's really important, especially when you have small kids. They can wake up like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. So that's something that happened to me a lot of times. So please be sure that you are feeling comfortable with the place you're going to stay. The next question you need to ask is about in which college can you study your credits. This is also important, important, because maybe you really want to study something when you are being au pair, you want to do your credits maybe in a community college, so you need to ask if you are going to have access to the car to go to your classes, or if you need to use public transportation, and also if you're going to be able to go to classes, because there are some host families that they have a really busy schedule and maybe they are going to change your schedule every week. Because of that, you're not going to be able to take classes in a college, and maybe you will have to take a weekend class in another city and you don't want that. So it's really important to ask if you are going to be able to go to classes, if that's something important to you. The next question is about the food. You need to ask how is this going to work, if they are going to buy food for you or if you are going to eat with them, because maybe you have a special diet, maybe you don't eat meat or something, so you really need to ask how this is going to work, if they are going to give you a credit card to buy your own food. So it's really important to talk about the food, because you don't want to eat sandwiches all day. So you need to be sure they are going to buy you the things you need to cook, or you can eat with them. So talk about how the food is going to work. The next question that is also important, ask them if they are planning to have another child in the future, in the next future or soon. That is really important. Ask also the host family if they have pets and which kind of pets do they have, because maybe you are allergic to some kind of pets, or maybe you are allergic to dogs or cats, and which ones are going to be your responsibilities about the pet, because some host families ask to the au pair to maybe take the dog out or to feed the dog or something, and maybe you're not feeling comfortable with that, so please ask about pets. And the last question is going to be to ask the host family if the host kids have an allergy or they have special needs. That's really important. So this is the last question that I'm going to say in this video. Ask the family all the questions that you have. Don't be afraid. There are no silly questions, so please be sure you have all the information that you need so you can see if this is the correct host family for you or no. I know that sometimes you can be really happy and excited because you like a host family, but sometimes there are au pairs that match with host families because they were really excited, but they didn't ask all the questions, so when they arrive they see that that family was not the correct family for them. So please be sure to ask all the questions and to have all the information that you need. So this was everything for this video. If you like this video, please thumbs up. I would really appreciate that. And if you have another suggestion for another video, you can put it below in the comments. So don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I will see you soon. Goodbye!